Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Achieving Unity Success Formula. I'm so glad you're here. You look at the screen, you can see our Achieving Unity guide. This is the guide that talks about some of the issues that we have today with anger, hate, and prejudice. And some of that is all caused by frustration and disconnection. Please look and get a copy of it. You can get a copy with the QR code on the bottom left, or you can get to my blog with the QR code on the bottom right. My name is Mark Intrican, and I am again so thrilled that you are here. This guide is one of the ways that we reach to people to help us all understand that anger, hate, prejudice have no value, but instead we're turning to the power of encouraging, inspiring, and helping and including others. That's how we make the world a better place. And we can do it. We're going to find out more later with our guest tonight about how he took a situation that wasn't positive and turned it that way. And we can all do that by working together, achieving unity. The Achieving Unity Success Formula, thank you so much for being here again because we are on session number 38. We started last October and we are going strong. We're already booked through the end of the year. So please put this on your calendar every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Love to see you here. Love to have your feedback. And please, you're welcome to ask questions through the chat during the meeting. Thank you. Reality focused dynamics, success focused solution. As you see our logo here, it truly represents the heart of what we do. Notice how focused sits right in the center? That's because everything that we explore, from reality focused dynamics to success focused solutions, revolves around clear, intentional direction. In fact, that idea of focus is so central to us, it's even built right into our phone number, 303-362-8733, which spells 303 focused on your keypad on your telephone. We believe that by truly focusing on what matters, we can create meaningful change and achieve lasting unity. To go to our site home, you can use the QR code on the left or to contact me, and I would love to talk with you. Let's chat. Use the QR code on the right. We want to be focused with you. We have proven compassionate strategies that turn conflict into lasting harmony at home, at work, and in every relationship that matters. Sometimes we're frustrated by the tension or the arguments. Are you? Someone you know? Our 7 step roadmap gives you the tools to move from conflict to collaboration, communication quickly and confidently. Are you craving stronger trust, stronger connection? Discover communication tactics that build respect for each other, repair relationships personally or professionally, people that you're working with on a day-to-day basis, people that report to you, people that you report to. Unify your teams and family alike. We can transform conflict into connection, together achieving unity. Unity inspires us in our homes, it shapes society, and it transforms workplaces. We help you turn frustration into understanding. Because I know sometimes we want to say, what the frustration? Find value in your actions instead of reacting in anger, that frustration, that disconnection that comes about. We know that anger holds no value. Anger, Anger, is nothing more than actions not gaining effective results. There's no value in that. Life happens in every relationship. Again, from personal relationships to professional relationships, from parenting time to partnerships, in the bedroom and the boardroom and every room in between. We show you how to embrace those challenges and encourage a more inspired and inclusive future. That is our EII. And if you go out to that blog QR code we showed earlier, you'll see more of my articles that talk about EII, encouraging, inspiring, and including others to help us all build a better world. One vision, one goal, achieving unity in every area of life. Our call to action is let's ditch the drama and get stuff done. We will show you how to turn your life from what may seem like a dumpster fire to a well-oiled machine. And Mykal will talk a lot about that today. We want to make sure we understand that just because there's a dumpster fire today, it can turn into a well-oiled machine tomorrow. Achieving unity is the path to stronger relationships, inspired leadership, and lasting change with others as well as ourselves. Coaching, consulting, courses, and keynote speeches, contact us today. You can reach us at realityfocusdynamics.com or 303-362-8733, which is 303 Focused. Let's get focused together. Our next course starts in August. It comes up on August 7th, the first Thursday in August. Living life fully through present moment awareness. Where are we today? Achieving unity doesn't just solve problems, it builds those bridges I'm talking about to possibility. Encourage every person's growth by replacing criticism with compassion. Inspire change through hope, not pressure. Every step forward matters. Include every voice so no one feels unseen, unheard, or unworthy. When we replace disconnection with empathy and frustration with understanding, we create a space for trust, for collaboration, and for shared success. Together, achieving unity is how we thrive. Our next podcast guest coming up, and again, this is a weekly live podcast. Next week, we start with Sean Yesner, a widowed parent. And remember, all 4 sessions this month for the month of June are about fathers, dads, parenting, some of the conflicts that some of the fathers and dads have come across, and how to better our parenting. We'll have Mykal, which we'll talk to in a few minutes. Next week is Sean Yesner, the widowed parent. Come back and find out more about being a parent, but yet being widowed in the relationship. That's on June 11th. Keith Schumacher, father friendly, building the father's relationship, dad's relationship in our schools. He's done a great job working with that. Alan Stevens, who's an international profiling and communication specialist, will come help us with our communication in relationships. And then the following week, which is the week before Independence Day here in the United States, Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman will come and talk to us about the price of freedom. But yeah, the price that we have paid, people gave their lives and so much, the freedoms that we enjoy today, yet honoring that cost of the independence that we have today. Be a great set of podcasts coming up. So please put us on your calendar. Come back and see us each week. But today I'm overly excited about our guest. Today, Mykal's going to talk about guiding fathers to conquer addiction and save their family. Mykal once said, I want to stop destroying my life and my family, but I just don't know how. This haunting question remained unanswered for Mykal until it was too late. Yet, he still transformed his darkest hours into a mission of hope and change for other families. Mykal didn't just recover, he transformed his experiences into a source of hope and strength for those who will struggle to find those answers. Today, we'll hear a powerful conversation where Mykal shares his journey from losing everything, lost everything, including cherished relationships, relationships with his family, to rebuilding a meaningful life from the ground up in his 50s. His story is a testament to the power of positive transformation. Please help me welcome Mykal Olson. Mykal, how are you today?
I am great. How are you, Mark?
I'm doing wonderful, and I am so proud and so happy that you're here. This is a
Well,
situation that so many people, things like this happen to them, but they don't know what to do, right? They don't know where to turn. Where do they go? And for you, I want to find out more today about you and how this all started. So if you don't mind, Michael, if you mind introducing yourself and tell us a little bit about your story.
thank you, Mark, and I appreciate the offer to come and talk to you and your audience. I would say that my story started off similar to so many people, where I was doing very well for myself. I had the family, I had the house in the suburbs, the really good career, and all that, but not everything was what it appeared on the surface. There was something happening underneath. And what happened is I lost my way and I turned to something that was destructive, a destructive habit, to cope with the fact that things weren't going the way that I had hoped they would go. Things were not turning out the way that I wanted them to. And that destructive habit was addiction. There were more than just one. There was the gambling, there was the pornography, the sex, all that. And what happened is eventually I did something that I never dreamed was going to happen because of those addictions. And I ended up committing a crime because of all the losses that I had and wound up in prison,
Oh my gosh.
losing everything else that I had. And when I'm sitting in prison thinking I'm going to get out at 53 years old, I had to say, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? And that was the point where all of this started.
That's amazing. And just as you're talking about that, Michael, I'm thinking 53 years old. If we could live to be 100, you're still over half of your life gone, right?
Not only gone, but everything that I had done before, I felt like I had totally destroyed it. My reputation, the relationships that I had with all everybody in my family and my friends was all gone.
What do you feel was what kind of helped you make that turn? What I mean, I could be being in jail is enough. I mean, you're in there, you're ordered around theoretically from all that you see that from the deputy sheriffs that they're over you all the time. I can only imagine what that was like. But
Well, to tell
what do
you
you
the
feel
truth,
turn?
the
Go
experience
ahead.
of being in prison is you're treated less than an animal.
Wow,
Animals are treated better than the people that are in prison. But this really isn't about that experience. This is about how did I turn this around? Because I knew that I had to do something, but what was it going to be? And I looked at it and said, because of all the damage that I did, the only thing that I can really do to make up for the damage is to try and help other men, other fathers, not do what I did. I had to find a way to be able to reach out and inspire other men to solve the problems before it gets that far. And that was the beginning of what I decided I was going to be doing.
Well, Michael, look up to you. That has been, from what I see from the people that I've talked to. Now, again, I've been a past president of the Fathers of Equal Rights in Denver, Colorado, as a Colorado coordinator for the Children's Rights Council. I've been very strong in working with parents, and the best parent is both parents. And I put that together with that I own that domain. But the point I want to make here is I've worked with a lot of people that have been where you've been, but none of them have stepped up and taken the journey on like you have. How did you, where'd you get the strength? How did you do that?
Well, there's an interesting story as to how I got triggered to really begin the process. I was listening to a recorded message of somebody giving a motivational speech. And this is like to one of those athlete driven kind of a things where they were all brim fire and really going to town telling people that they had to grind every day in order to improve themselves. And my reaction was very surprising. I became angry. I was mad because coming from what I had done to my life and the dealing with addictions, I can say that we have ground ourselves into the ground to the point where there's nothing left. So we
Nothing
wonder
left.
what the heck we're going to be able to do. And so I became angry at this idea of grinding because I know of grinding as a destructive process. It's the ripping away of materials until you've uh, shaped it into something else. And a vision came to my mind at that point. Maybe because of all the science and fiction and fantasy novels that I read as I was younger, but this idea of a medieval forge showed up in my mind because forging is a creative process, not a destructive process. It's the taking materials and shaping it into a work of art. And that's what came to my mind and told me wait, all the addiction, all those things that I was doing were the destructive process. And I needed to change to actions that were a creative process. And so I began to set out what can I do that's different from the destructive actions to the creative actions. And that began the search for the answers to that question that I had. I want to stop destroying my life, but I don't know how. Now I'm going to go find how to form my life and make it into something that I can be proud of, that can help people, and can maybe show the family that I hurt that they could still find a way to be proud of me from that.
Congratulations, Michael. I mean, that's like coming from the lowest point in your life and still being able to come forward and grow. And as you're talking about that forging, that forge that you're talking about of building something from what you have left to be better, to be something better and take it forward, right?
That's correct. And that's what I needed to do is to change me so that I do the actions necessary to help other people. Because one of the things to understand about addiction, it's selfish. It's self-centered. We are doing the addictive actions, whether it's drugs, alcohol, or some kind of behavior. We're doing those because we have pain that we can't deal with. And so we do these actions to be able to cope with those feelings we don't want to deal with. It's an escape. So what do we have to do is we have to change those things within us and gain control and gain power over those fears, those feelings of hurt and whatever. We have to attack those particular things and overcome them in order to be able to move forward with creative things. When people go through recovery programs, we hear about it all the time. They go get clean, then they go right back to the activities. And they'll do it over and over again. What doesn't happen is the changing of the person within so that they don't need the coping mechanisms going forward.
I love what you're saying right there. Again, that coping mechanism. You're not looking to please someone else because that's what gets us in so many problems, so many issues. We talk to someone else, we take their opinion. We don't know how intelligent, how educated, how knowledgeable they may be, but we listen to someone else and then we lose our abilities sometimes when we know it's not right, but we listen to someone else and we make those mistakes.
Here's
When you
one
talk,
key. Here's
please,
one key for your audience. No one is going to come fix you. No one is going to come heal you. You have to be the one to do it. I have a coaching business not because I'm going to fix someone, but I'm going to lead someone on the path so that they can fix themselves because they're the only ones that can do it.
they're the only ones that can do it. I appreciate you so much, Michael. That is so true. And to be able to reach out to our audience and that more and more people grasp onto that we are in charge of our lives and we've got to fix ourselves in what we're doing. You had so much and then you lost it all. What gave you that strength? How did you see that ability to go to the next step? And if you don't mind me asking, in your coaching, how do you help others see that value as well?
Well, that was part of the struggle is when I started this process, I had to figure out how do I overcome the addiction. So I began to do a lot of research and study and come up with a plan to how to do this. As I'm doing that, I created a process for myself to do this this effort. And then when I went to do the coaching, I said, well, yeah, it worked for me, but how do I teach it?
Yeah.
How do I speak to what the science was behind what I did that accomplished this goal? So I went and studied NLP, neuro linguistic programming. I became certified as a hypnotherapist. I took coaching classes and I listened to many people in neuroscience in order to figure out what the heck is going on so that I can transfer that knowledge and help other people use that knowledge to help themselves.
And when you got into that NLP, I guess neuro is mind, right?
Correct.
The language of the mind, right?
Correct.
So you're helping us learn more about how we're talking to ourselves. Tell us a little bit more.
The language of our mind is we have two minds. We have the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And what happens, like in addiction, our conscious mind, we tell ourselves, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore. But as soon as something triggers a memory in the back of our minds, in our subconscious, we have these subconscious actions that we automatically do. And the things that we think consciously, we abandon those. because we are triggered in that almost animal brain that we have in the back. So, what we have to do is go in and reprogram that subconscious mind to respond differently to those triggers. That's what the NLP really begins to do is we reprogram those thoughts so that the triggers don't do the same things that they used to.
They've built that comfort level, haven't they? They're
Yes.
comfortable doing things a certain way, and we develop habits. It's something as simple. I was talking to another person earlier about the difference between Apple and Windows. And when you use the same, like we're using Zoom right now, you use it on Windows for a while, you change over to Apple, it's the same program, but it doesn't operate the same. And we have to learn the new ways to do things, right?
Correct. And I'm about to do something where I'm going to not go with Apple or Windows. I'm going Linux because I want to get outside of those two.
Get outside that box of where everyone else is going.
Right. It's a
Instead
little
of having,
uncomfortable, but I'm going to
it
go
is.
there.
And there you go. I'm glad you brought that up, and I hope that our audience can go with this because Linux is much more technical. It's doesn't have all the things that Apple and Microsoft has. You're not going to be able to go out and buy all these packages for Linux as you can others.
Yeah.
But what Michael is going through, and Michael, help me out here, going for a solid foundation of ability products that you can still do everything you need to do, but you don't have some of the external issues that you have. It's with Apple and especially with Windows, right?
Yes, I'm doing it specifically because I don't want the manipulation from those other corporations.
I'm so with you. Well, if you don't mind, I would like to step back just a second because something you talked to us about earlier about that forging. You're taking things and you're forging it and you're creating something. And you mentioned a work of art. Excuse me. And that is so true. I'm with you 100%. And that's what we can do. We can create value that way. But I also have a nephew that does some forging, and he builds products through forging that go into these high speed jets that we put together. So
Mhm.
the pieces and parts that he forges are an art in a way, but they also help maintain huge jets with a lot of people on them. So that forging that you're doing may be art, or it could be a product that saves lives. It gives us a new view into our tomorrow, right?
Correct. And what I'm talking about there is there are two different parts of the process that I created. One is the art, the other is function. You design the function and then make it a work of art besides that. So,
Beautiful.
how do you look at your life? Look at who you are as a person. Look at the kind of characteristics that you want to have or that you need to have in order to achieve a certain function, and you forge the entire part to be able to accomplish those things. With addiction, I had to look at what do I want to be able to do to achieve to not have these addictions and conquer it. And I changed my character. I changed my identity of who I was, and then I was able to achieve the things that I wanted to. For instance, one step. When I'm getting out of prison at 53 years old, they're going to give me $235 and I don't come now back now. I lived on the street for a year
Oh my
before
God.
getting someplace that I could live. I chose to not go into halfway house because then I'm not associating with other people that are suffering from addiction that might be going back or might tempt me to go back to it. But at the same time, because I wanted to become a speaker and inspire other men to take these steps. Every week I was going to Toastmasters meetings and then going back to my space where I was living on the street, simply because then I'm around different people, people that are looking toward the future and improving themselves. And therefore, I'm improving myself rather than slipping back into what I was doing before.
Beautiful. Congratulations. And that's not easy, is it?
It's not easy, but it's necessary. And that was part of the process that I created is I need to do these steps.
I appreciate that too, Michael, because I think all of us talk to people that says, "Well, I can't do that. That's not possible. Here, from where I am, I can't go there. I can't make it. I'll never be able to get there." But there's people like you, and I hope I say this too many times, but congratulations for what you've done. And again, the people look up to you for doing that because you took it beyond that step. You show that it can be done. It wasn't easy. I mean, I can hear that. Right? It wasn't easy, but it's doable if you have the strength that people like you have.
It's
Uh,
doable, and you can create the strength to be
create the
able to
strength.
do it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's what I want to make sure the point is. You may not feel that you do, but you can create that strength within you to be able to achieve it. And that's one of the message I have is you can create yourself in an image that you want to have. You can change any characteristic that you have because every characteristic we have is because we accepted that characteristic. Even the bad ones, we accepted those, but we don't have to accept them. We can change them.
We can improve them too, right? It's not just a change. We can take the habits that we have, redirect them, improve them, and take us to where we want to be. We just need to know first, where do we want to be?
Yes, we have to create that vision for ourselves.
A vision of ourselves. Well, tell me, what is the Life Forge all about?
The Life Forge is the process of making this change, and I have created a website which talks about all of those. I've created a free community called the Blacksmith Brotherhood in order to be able to support men who maybe haven't decided yet that they want to do this, but they can come talk to other people and get feedback to maybe decide that they want to go ahead with it. And then it also talks about the courses that I have created to go through the process. But I also want to make sure people know that I've created a new free book that I'll make available to them, which hopefully talks to men who haven't destroyed their lives yet, because I want to reach them before they do. I want them to take a look at their lives and say, maybe I'm gonna I'm gonna find out. And then I'm of course asking them to be in communication with other men, because one of the things problems that I had is I tried to do it alone in isolation. We can't do that. We need brotherhood of groups of men that help support each other and listen to each other and provide each other the support that we need in order to be able to make these changes.
That is great. And thank you again for all that you are doing. Now, as you were talking, I just went out there and that's the lifeforge.com, right? Your
Correct.
website. It was at the bottom of your picture earlier. Love that. Tell us more about it. And I think if I see it correctly, you can get the book there on your website.
Yeah, what you can do is go to thelifeforge.com/free book, and you can get a download that you can have. And what it does is it talks about how to identify if you have a problem, and it does some myth busting about what is addiction and tells the truth about it so that you can see there is a way to overcome it. You can get an answer to that question. I don't know how. Here is the possibility for you to do that and know how you can overcome those addictions.
That is awesome. I'm just watching your looking through your pages. You're talking. I'm very impressed by what you put together on your website. You talk about the 9-step process to help men reclaim their lives.
Yep.
Can you tell us more?
It's a 9 step process that I have aligned with the actions of stepping into a forge. And what it does, it takes you through all the steps, dealing with the fire, dealing with the anvil, dealing with the creating of the art, uh, creating tools, which are the hammers that you're going to use. All of these steps. Because I really wanted to talk to men, I thought this image of being in the forge, working with your hands and creating this would really resonate with men because I really want to find men out there that want to work toward this improving their lives. And so that's why I'm here on Father's Day month
Yes.
to be able to reach out to them and
Yes. And I hope
get them inspired to at least ask some questions. Reach out and look for some help. It may be you don't need much help, but that's great. But we want to have you get you some help, even a little bit. Because what I really want is to create men into the heroes their families want and their families deserve and that they really want to be.
that is beautiful. And that helps up so much. But I think one of the things that we're challenged by, and of course, help me out here, with all the people that I talk with, don't we get into situations where they come in, they see your site, they get started, and they hit a speed bump. They see a hurdle along the way and they slow down. And sometimes they do that. I think you called it sliding earlier. They start sliding backwards. How do
Yeah.
you help them in those situations?
That's why I have the community of the Blacksmith Brotherhood so that they can be able to reach out and say, "Hey, I'm having a bit of a problem right now." Other people can reach out to them and say, "Hey, I've been there. This has happened to me. I'm going to be working within this community too." And I can say, "I understand. I've been there. I've been through it, but here's what happens. When you go through this process of the forge, you don't become instantly without addiction. There is still some of that there. You may have a relapse, but having the process of the forge, you can now get over that sooner with less problems coming out of it. And over time, little by little, those periods become shorter and shorter and shorter until you just, I don't need it. I had some of those experiences myself. There are still some things that I struggle with. I spend far too much time on YouTube, I understand. But I know that with this process, I know I can get over that. I know I can put that aside and do something like this program that I have coming up at the end of this month. I'm going to be spending my time doing that instead of the things that I shouldn't be doing.
That's awesome that you are doing something and you're teaching others to do this also. That we all slide, we all find those times of struggles and challenges and frustration, as I talked about earlier, that it's easy to think that it's not worth it, but actually it is. And that's what I'm hearing that you teach in your course that yes, we all may stumble, but we come back together, as you mentioned in that blacksmith brotherhood, talk to each other. Let's build and having that person to lean on someone else's shoulder, say, help me out here, help me stand a moment, and help them refocus to be
Yep.
focused
Yep.
on
And
that success.
I know you understand this because you're building community. What we need to do is we have a community of people that have gone through similar experiences that can support each other.
And that's some of the things that, and sometimes we want to hear some things repetitively because we hear it, but we've also had experiences that, yes, it works, but sometimes it doesn't. But to be able to share these things repetitively, that it will work if we stick with it. Turn to your brotherhood, turn to the successful people who have done this and are where you want to be. And I think it goes back to, I heard it first from Jim Rohn. A lot of people talk about it, but if we look at the five people that we're around the most, we are generally the average of those five people. What we want to do is to find those two, two and a half, three people that are going farther, that are understanding these issues, repeating themselves on the better part of it, and then maybe go to seven or eight or 10 people, but be around people that like it sounds like you did, Michael.
Hmm.
Some better people who had lives like you wanted, and to not just follow, but grow along that path, right?
Yeah, the long term growth is to go beyond ourselves to helping other people. Because when we're helping other people, we reinforce in ourselves who we are as better people than we were. Because we have to change ourselves into something stronger to be able to reach out and help other people. That's the long term goal.
And sometimes we have to think about that it's okay to be helped. Excuse me. That being in that brotherhood, or with the people that want to help us, that can help us achieve in so many ways, that's good. It's not something to be ashamed of. And too many times, especially because of some of our cultures, some of the men think that that's not macho. When anytime that you're improving yourself is very macho. Anytime you can lean on someone else, anyone else, male or female, mother or father, man or woman, once you find that person to be in that brotherhood with, that's going to help you grow to that next step, that shares value.
Hmm.
That you're able to lean on someone, somebody to lean on and lean with. And if you can find the people, though, that are like you're thinking about in that blacksmith brotherhood, people that have been through some of the things that you've been through, been down that path, can
Yeah.
talk one on one when not many people can do that. There's not many people they can talk with to help them, but to be into that brotherhood, to be into that team, almost an enterprise within itself to help
Yeah.
yourself
Which is
grow.
why the free
Go ahead.
book that I offered, I didn't mention the title yet. Don't Suffer Alone, From Isolation to Brotherhood, because it is critically important that we not suffer without being able to reach out and ask for help.
And that is so strong, and that's what we build on. And that's where we come in, achieving unity and that power, the power of harnessing encouragement inspiration, and including others. And that including others can be your brotherhood
Yes,
and the ability for you to congratulate each other, encourage each other. And I think like you're already talking about, inspiring each other to take that next step forward.
exactly. And that's why I'm hoping that Achieving Unity and the Life Forge will have more than just this association. Let's
Oh,
continue to work with each other.
let's continue to work together. Let's continue to build together because that's what we need. As you're talking about the forging, let's forge those strong parts. I say forging, you're taking the metals, maybe some metals that have been broken at some point, you're putting them into that fire, heating them up, making them moldable to mold a new piece, a new part, stronger than before. Let's put them into the forge and come out with what we need for the strength, for the foundation, to forge the
Exactly.
parts that builds that structure that we need to grow forward. And I want us to do that and help each other going forward in what we do and in the meetings that we have and continue to have. Both of us in our coaching, we can work together
Yeah.
because as I come across people that have been through what you've been through, it's not wrong for me to say, and it doesn't put me down in any way, but I can't help them like you can. You've been down that path. Anyone that's forged together pieces or parts of any art or any product knows how to do it better. And so for us to be able to share that information and be able to turn people back and forth to each other, share that support and growing together is so good for them.
Yeah. Well, that's why we have so many different experiences because other people need different experiences to help them. There's a lot of people out there that my experiences will not help them, but they may for you. Or there are other coaches, or there are other people out there that have experiences, they can help them. So don't ever stop looking for help. You'll find somebody.
That is so true. And something that you talk about, and what I've read, you talk about a little bit in your book, and that's the freedoms that you give up with addiction. We all have our freedoms. We all have to be able to go places and do things. But when you have that addiction, when you go to jail, what happens to all those freedoms, Michael?
You give them up.
Give them up.
They aren't taken from you. You give them up. And if you understand that you are giving away your freedom by engaging in addictive actions, I'm telling you, please take those freedoms back by taking control of those addictions through asking for help, seeking it from other people, especially groups of people with similar experiences. Please do that.
May I repeat what just a part of what you just said? Take those freedoms back. Like you said, they're not gone. They're maybe misplaced, but it's up to us, each person, to reach out, grab hold, and take those freedoms back. What would you say to someone who might be listening right now, someone who may be listening to the recording? She mentioned YouTube. This recording will be out on YouTube, so feel free to go out to YouTube to listen to this. But just besides being on the fun side, getting back to a little bit serious, what would you say to someone right now that may be listening or somebody listening to the recording who feels alone, who feels unsure of what to do next? What are some things that you tell them they can do?
If you are asking yourself or have ever asked yourself, I want to stop doing something, but I just don't know how. There is an answer for you. You can find out how. And there are people that really want to help you out there to answer those questions. Look at your life and find out what is the source of the problem. Your life might not be going just the way you want it, but what is it that's causing your life to go that way? And if you're looking at actions that you're taking that you don't know why you're taking them, if there are actions that you're taking that you don't know the reason why you're taking them, that you just automatically do them, please consider going to get my book and identifying whether that might be addiction related. Decide to read that and reach out and get some feedback to see if you can overcome addictive tendencies, because what it may do is eventually, without you ever thinking you're going to do this, it may wreck your life. And we need to help you before that happens. Please reach out and seek some help.
Those are such true words, Michael. Reach out to you. And again, what is your website? One more time.
Easy. 3 words put together, thelifeforge.com.
TheLifeForge.com.
Yep,
TheLifeForge.com. The Life Forge. And start forging your life in the way it can be if you choose that. So if someone wants to take that first step and doesn't know how, of course, your website, which we talk about, that's one way. What's another good place, good direction to begin?
well, there are a lot of other places that offer help, but they may direct you to a 12-step program. Great. If that works for you, I'm all for it. It didn't work for me. I tried it, it did not work. I tried therapy. Great. If it works for you, try it. It did not work for me. I found my own process. That's why I created it. I've listed my process in the book Life Forge, which is available on my website and can be ordered through Amazon. I'll just say right now, please reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. Maybe I can help you a little bit to direct you where you need to go. But we can't do that until you reach out. So please get a hold of me on the website. Look for the book. Um, the website is the best way, probably, because there you can get a link that you can email me or anything like that. But let's at least have a conversation.
Get started. And like you said, take back your independence, take back your freedom, get to where you can do something that you want to do. Give up that. If you want to give something up, give up the point that other people are running your life, other products, other drugs are taking control of your life, that you do not have the freedom that we all say we enjoy so much. If you're addicted to anything, it's controlling their life. Right, Michael?
That is correct. And
So what
finally, I always wanted to be a superhero. I like Batman personally. Just understand, heroes are made, not born. Heroes are forged in the fires of trauma, difficulty. They are not born. So create yourself as a hero for your family.
And we can all be that way if we just put out the effort. If we just build on what we can learn that we need to do and take it and grow it forward. But just quickly, we only have about 5 more minutes, Mykal, but I know with the things that I do, my coaching, my workshops, my courses, my speaking, sometimes it get hard. Sometimes it's pretty tough. What are some things that you do to keep going?
I'm constantly seeking my own coaches because I know that I need to continue to improve myself and to create better habits and such. So I work with coaches too. So never look at reaching out to a coach as something negative. We must continue to forge ourselves, and we can only do that through someone who's experienced things that we need to know but haven't experienced it yet. So that's a constant process. You don't just forge yourself once, you forge yourself constantly. And so I continue to reach out and look for examples of someone that you admire. Find out what is the characteristic of that person that you admire, that you want to take on, and then plan to forge that into your life as your characteristic so that you can take on those kind of actions yourself.
That is awesome. Mykal, thank you so much. And that's giving people the strength that they need, that we all need, that I've needed it before too. I've run through a major divorce in my life. I was in a critical automobile accident. There's times that I've been in situations where I was sliding back. And it's the situations also where if you want to have the freedoms to do what you want to do, there's things that you can do. So Mykal, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. Do you have any other programs? You just got your website, find out what you're doing on a day to day, week to week, month to month basis, and then how we can work together going forward?
Yeah, I've mentioned before that I have coming up here at the end of this month, I have an online course that lays the foundation for the process of creating the new you. Then I have additional courses after that to take you through the rest of the program. But I also will offer anybody who wants to work directly with me, we can do one on one coaching that will help get you there faster with more individual attention to be able to get that process done. All that's available. You can get a hold of me on the website and we'll get that set up. Whatever you need to turn you into a high powered hero for your family, I'm willing to support you and help you so that you can get there.
Thank you so much, Michael. That means so much. And that is what so many people need. You bringing that forward helps us all build. And if you need anything more, starting on the 12th of this month, I will start building with my weekly weekly webinar online seminar at the same time on Thursdays. And we're going to be talking about ending anger and hate and prejudice, which are building through in the encouragement, inspiration, and including others. So contact one of us. Contact me at markentricken.com. Go to realityfocused.com. You can call me at 303 focused. But let's all, as Michael has done, has shared with us today, focused on our freedoms, focused on even when you're addicted, you can grow to have that better life. It's there, it's ahead of you. Take it, it's yours.
Hmm.
Michael, thank you again. Appreciate it. And I know we'll be talking again very soon.
Thank you
Everybody,
very much, Mark. You will be talking soon.
we'll talking soon. Everybody, talk to us also. We want to hear from you. Thank you. Cheers.